Hi everyone, it's Liam here from Rating the Races. So we've got some good races tomorrow at Newbury. If it goes ahead, is heavy going, so we have to be wary of that. I will have to think about who I'm actually selecting at Newbury as well. We might talk through a horse and then actually scrub him off based on the ground. We've also got some racing at Kelso and some racing at Doncaster that I'm going to look at. And we'll start off with the 120 at Newbury, and this horse is going to be kept in the reckoning, I'm sure. And that horse is Fortescue. So Fortescue, this is probably one of the easiest races he's run in for a while. And he continually drops in the handicap. He's now down to 135 from a high of 145. Just, what was he, is that 12 months ago? December 2022, he was 145, so not quite. This time last year, he was running in the Grand National of 143, an £8 higher mark, or nearly this time last year, wasn't it? It was April, obviously, for the Grand National. And running it off a mark of 143, and he ran okay. He finished 13th, beaten 65 lengths. Just isn't good enough for that type of race. This type of race, however, I do think he's good enough. A veteran's handicap. The trip isn't bad at 3 mile 2. I actually wondered whether he wanted a bit shorter, even when they were running him over marathon trips. If he can keep in touch, that's the big key with him, is keeping him in touch rather than the ability to finish strongly. It's just that he gets outpaced and gets lost and then runs on. I think it's really interesting that we've got Harry Cobden on board. Now, obviously, Harry Cobden is trying to win the jockey's title along with Sean Bowen. So it's very interesting when one of those jockeys gets an outside ride, and also whether they get a ride that looks like it's got a really big chance. And I think Fortescue has. As I said, the trip will be fine, the ground will be fine, the heavy going. Finished second just 2 runs ago on heavy going, beaten by Robin DeZone. In front of Fantasticus and Omar Moretti that day. Omar Moretti actually reopposes and is 11-2, Omar Moretti, and yet was behind Fortescue over this, not over this course and distance, sorry, at Haydock over 3.5 mile. They were off, Omar Moretti runs off the same mark, Fortescue runs off a £3 lower mark. So on that, Omar Moretti is actually the wrong price if we look at the odds. Omar Moretti is a shorter price than Fortescue. Well, that doesn't make sense straight away, in that as soon as Fortescue gets a better trip and obviously gets a top quality jockey on board, no offence to Hugh Nugent, Harry Cobden is vying for the jockey's title, so he must be a very good jockey. And yeah, I think he'll try and keep Fortescue involved a lot more than maybe Hugh Nugent does. And as I said, if he does keep him involved, I think he will go very, very close here. In a race of horses that are firmly on the downgrade, haven't really been showing a lot of form. Yeah, Fortescue just struggled last time over 3 mile at Sandown. The fences just got in the way. You know, they were too quick for him. They're not as... they don't come up as fast at Newbury. And I think the ground will suit. Yeah, if the race goes ahead, I actually think Fortescue is going to go very, very close here. And you can currently get 6s, none of this Bet MGM, whatever this is, and Bet UK. 6-1 is available at Coral. No, wouldn't take that one. Ladbrokes, Boyle Sports, Bet 365. Some people might say that that's not a bookmaker as well, as would, including me. They'll block you or restrict you as soon as you start winning. But yeah, the 6-1 about Fortescue, I think he'll run a really big race here with Harry Cobden on board. Moving on to the 135. Now, I do want to just have a look at this one. So I highlighted a horse to myself in my head. I felt Can Do Kid coming back here might be the right place. Definitely worried about the ground. Looking at the horse's previous form, good to soft, good to soft, good to soft, good to soft. They've clearly kept him away from this heavy going. I am going to take Can Do Kid out because I think he's the best horse in the race. I don't really want to be taking him on with something just because it's got heavy ground form. So I'm actually going to cross this race straight out like so, which will please some of you because I know some of you don't like too many selections on a Saturday, for example. So we'll move on to the 205 at Doncaster. It's only soft ground there. It's not quite as heavy. And the horse that I'm interested in here is Arcoob. Now, Arcube is very interesting in the fact that the horse is going up to 3 mile, or 3 mile and half a furlong, going up from 2 miles 3 that he ran over at Ascot, having been running well over 2 mile previously, including not beaten that far by Rare Edition and Fransham. Had previously finished a good third at Sandown behind Under Control and Iberica Lord. I think they've made a mistake. I think they should have been going for the Imperial Cup. But if the distance is what Arcube has actually been wanting, if this trip is actually what the horse wants, the 3 mile trip, he would actually be thrown in. He would win this comfortably. If 3 mile is actually what he's been wanting, and yet he's been running over the wrong trip, he's been running well enough over that wrong trip to suggest that as soon as he goes up to the right trip, he'll run a really big race. And he is only 6, so it's not like they're doing it with a 9-year-old and he's, they're trying something because they don't know what to do. I don't think there's any odds for this one yet, so we will have to come back to this when we see some odds. Anything above, say, 5 or 6 to 1, and I think I'd be interested with a small bet on Arcube, because, as I said, if the 3 mile trip is what he's actually been wanting, and he's been running as well as he had over 2 mile, then yeah, I think he would certainly suggest that he's very, very well handicapped. But it's all about whether he really wants that 3 mile trip. Moving on to the 250 at Kelso, one of the feature races of the day, the more battle hurdle. And I have narrowed this down to 2. And I don't think trainers would be coming here to not waste their runs, but I think there's a couple coming here that think they've got really good chances of winning here and then winning at the Cheltenham Festival. You win £100,000 bonus if you can do that. So, looking at those at the top of the market, who has an entry at the Cheltenham Festival? Under Control does, Black Hawk Eagle doesn't, Sky Cutter doesn't, Bingu doesn't, just want to check Ballygeary, Benson does, Salsada does, Ballygeary does not. Now I think that's really interesting that Dan Skelton's doesn't. Now he's ran horses in this race and the Imperial Cup before, and they've then gone close or even subsequently won at the Cheltenham Festival. So we've had Langadan win an Imperial Cup, then finish second in a Martin Pipe before winning a Coral Cup. We've had Favois run here twice, never won, finished third both times, went to Cheltenham, nothing happened until the year he actually got, well, I think the year he didn't run at Kelso, he went and won at the Cheltenham Festival in the County Hurdle. Last year they ran Loda Sud in this race. He didn't go to the Cheltenham Festival after that, but he did go to the Betfair Hurdle recently, where he finished a very good second, and I think he's got a great chance in the Coral County Hurdle this year. I think what they're doing, they're sending a horse here that actually they're going, we're just going to try and win the race now, rather than trying to win it with a horse that has so much in hand that they think they can win at the Cheltenham Festival as well. So that actually rules out Sky Cutter for me. I think if they really felt they could do something here, Harry would be here. Black Hawk Eagle, so Kerry Lee doesn't waste her chances here. She sends horses to this track that have great chances, and to be fair, 2 runs ago the form of Black Hawk Eagle was very, very good. When winning at Wincanton, beat a horse called Georgia Girl, beat the horse by half a length, 3/4 of a length, that day. That horse has since come out and won at least once, it might even be the twice, I'm just looking on my other screen, has come out and won twice since by 19 lengths and then half a length. One off a mark of 120, is now rated 125. Well, Black Hawk is actually still rated 122. So on that running, Black Hawk Eagle would demonstrate that he is still well handicapped. And I think he is. I do think Black Hawk Eagle is well handicapped. But I don't think he's as well handicapped as Under Control, who I do believe could win this and then run a massive race in the County Hurdle. The form of Under Control is very good. With that one run at Newbury, which clearly something was wrong. If we look back to 3 runs ago, was winning at Sandown, beating Iberica Lord. Iberica Lord has obviously won a Greatwood Hurdle and a Betfair Hurdle. That was top quality form. Even last time, she finished second to Ashrow Diamond, beating Gala Marceau. I think Gala Marceau admittedly, she disappointed next time, but I think she'll bounce back at Cheltenham. I think Ashrow Diamond will go really close at Cheltenham, albeit getting beat by Lossiemouth in the mares. But I think they're two very good mares in Gala Marceau and Ashrow Diamond, and Under Control split the pair of them. It looked like it was given a ride to make sure that everything was okay. Everything is okay. They're dropping back into a handicap, and I think they're going to go very, very close. I mean, they went off 9-4 for the Jerry Fielden, the handicap that I generally think works out best of all out of all the handicaps. Off a mark of 137, runs off 138. I think Under Control is going to take all of the beating here, and that is why she is 7-2. I do personally, again, I think she should have been running in the Imperial Cup rather than this race. They obviously want to give her a little bit more time to get over her run rather than the race the Saturday before in the Imperial Cup. The second horse that I actually think's got a decent chance is the one not having come back from a little bit of a layoff, and that was Salsada. So Salsada was last seen running at Ayr in the Scottish Champion Hurdle, finishing 5th behind Rabaul, not beaten far, off a mark of 130. Patrick took 5 off, so it was effectively running off 125, but was out of the handicap that day. And was out of the handicap the time before. I say out of the handicap, was running off a mark that should never have been able to get close she did. She finished second to Epatante. Epatante was rated 153 that day, and was giving £6 to Salsada, and Salsada has run a cracker to finish second. If she runs to that level again, I think she'll go really close. And Brian Ellison is a horse that I think is a trainer that I think tries to win this and then the bonus. He won this race a few years ago with Cormier, who went on to disappoint in the county hurdle, or I think he ran okay. I think he might finish 9th. But whilst I think Brian might have a horse that's ahead of his mark, I don't think he's as far ahead. I don't think she's as far ahead, Salsada. I don't think she's as far ahead of her mark as Under Control is. I think Under Control will be running in the mares' hurdles next year, whereas I don't think Salsada will. I think Salsada will be continuing to run in handicaps. And I know it's boring, and it's the favourite, but I really think Under Control is going to win this at 7-2. Moving on to the 3 o'clock at Newbury. Now, this is an interesting one because I've just mentioned that Harry Cobden getting outside rides surely suggests that he's got a big chance. And I think he has here. I think he's got a very big chance on a horse called Shared, who last time out was beating... how on earth do you say that? Gigagione, maybe? Who has since run well, finished second to Blue King Daru, third to Ginger Coco, has disappointed the last twice when stepped up in class. But I don't think Harry would have got first choice here. First choice would have gone to Paul O'Brien, and he's chosen to stick with Brentford Hope. This, for me, is an easier race than when Brentford Hope was finishing third behind Hansard and Bad. Bad has obviously eventually come out and run a really big race in a handicap at Ascot, only going down by a head in a feature handicap. Hansard had previously been tried in graded races, has also been tried in the Premier Handicap since. Didn't run bad, only beaten 3 and a bit lengths. Had previously finished second to Rabaul, had finished 4th in a grade 1 behind In the Pocket. You know, it's good form. It's proper good form, that from Hansard. There was no... It wasn't a poor run from Brentford Hope, finishing third off a mark of 133. Has gone up £1, but I think Paul will have got first choice for Harry Derham. And I do think Brentford Hope is going to take all of the beating here. The concern is the ground. The heavy going, again, no heavy ground form from Brentford Hope. Just having a look at Shared on my other screen as well. Shared has got heavy ground form. Won last time out at Chepstow on heavy going. It would not surprise me if Brentford Hope did not run. Shared ran. Harry Cobden had to vacate the ride and Paul O'Brien jumped on. If that happens, I might be doing that actually. I'm going to go for a bet on Shared if Brentford Hope is taken out. So it might be a last minute thing for a bet on Shared. If there is no... if they leave Brentford Hope in, I won't be doing anything in that race. So it's a bit of a strange one, that. But yeah, I think there's not a lot between them. But I think Shared might be allowed to take his chance, whereas Brentford Hope I don't think will. We don't currently have odds for that either, which is fine. 325 at Kelso. There's no selection in this race. I just don't understand the campaigning this year of Thunder Rock. The horse wants 3 mile, goes up to 3 mile, great. But you ran him last time in a handicap over 2.5, and you ran him the time before that in a handicap over 2.5. Why now, when you go up to 3 mile, a trip that looks like it really should suit, do you then run him in a listed race where the handicap marks are essentially irrelevant? If this was a handicap, Thunder Rock would be getting £1 from Monbeg Genius, 6 from I Right, and 8 from Manila Drama. He's not. He's actually giving £4 to Monbeg Genius, £4 to I Right, and £4 to Manila Drama. What on earth are they doing with Thunder Rock? Why wasn't he entered in the Ultima, the 3 mile handicap at Cheltenham? So it's not like there's an issue with the horse. He's not unfit or something because he's running tomorrow. Don't understand that one at all. I'm not having a bet in this race. I don't think Thunder Rock will win this. But I'll still be waiting for him in a handicap when he runs in a handicap. Finally, let's move on to one more that we are going to have a bet in at Doncaster in the feature race, the Grimthorpe Handicap Chase. And unfortunately, it's going to be a boring one. It is the favourite, Some Scope. So we've highlighted Some Scope a couple of times this year, and he has duly obliged twice, winning his last 2 races, including at Doncaster, last time out, beating the Ferrymaster quite comfortably off a mark of 115. Has gone up £10 for that. I don't think that's going to stop him, to be honest. I think they've got a very, very well handicapped horse, and I think they kind of know that as well. The interesting thing for me, I always try and look at this. Let me just see on my other screen before I start clicking around. No. Yes, okay. Look at the colours in the 235. Riders on the Storm. Same colours. In the 310, they don't have one. In the 340, they do, the Grimthorpe. Those colours. And I think it might even be in the 450, maybe. Nope, it's in the 415, sorry. So they've got 3 horses running. No, it must be in the last races. Our Follet in the 450. Let me just load that up again. Where is he? Our Follet. There we go. They've got 3 horses running here, these owners. You get 2 badges per horse. You get to have 6 people there, 6 members there of the syndicate to watch which horse? It's to watch Some Scope win the Grimthorpe. I think they know that they've got a massive chance. I think they're running the other 2 purely as we will get more badges to go and watch. I honestly believe they've done something like that, and I honestly believe that Some Scope is going to win the Grimthorpe. I totally understand why there's money for Ashtown Lad. This is a race that should suit him. It's definitely, he's not going to be running in the Grand National this year. A, he's not high enough rated, and B, he's not going to be good enough. I can't see them running him in the Topham either. Things haven't gone to plan so far this season, but that does mean he's dropped from a mark of 144 down to 138. The last time he ran off 138 in a handicap chase, I'm just trying to find it, he ran off 138 in the Beecher, which he won. And he won it nicely, beating Guest Kill, everything's suited. Same trip, going pretty much. The problem is, he's pulled up on his last 3. Can you be confident that he's going to bounce back to his best? In my opinion, no. I wouldn't be confident at all. There might be a little bit in Ashtown Lad. Maybe he could win again and go up to 144. I think Some Scope could also be a 144 horse, and he's only running off 125. So that's why I'm a lot more keen on Some Scope than I am Ashtown Lad in this race. So just a quick recap of my selections for tomorrow. Fortescue, Harry Cobden on board. As long as he can keep him involved early, I think he'll run a great race on the heavy going. At Doncaster, Arcoob, a small bet on Arcoob when the odds come out. I think we'll get about 5s or 6s. I'm hoping he stays the 3 mile trip. If he does, then I think he'll win. In the More Battle Hurdle, I think Under Control is the right favourite. I think she can win this and then run a massive race in the County Hurdle, whereas I don't think Salsada quite has as much in hand. Similarly, I don't think Black Hawk, Eagle, Skycutter or Bingo are good enough to be a very well handicapped Under Control. The 3 o'clock at Newbury, I'll be backing Shed if Brentford Hope is taken out of the race. The 3:25, no bet. I'm just watching Thunder Rock to finish 3rd or 4th would be nice, but not getting too close. And finally, in the last race, the 3:40, some scope to win the Grimthorpe off a really lightweight and demonstrate that the owners knew that's why they were all there, ready to watch. Some scope take all of the beating in the Grimthorpe Chase. Thanks for listening, and fingers crossed we can have a few winners tomorrow.